Summer's here at last, the sun is out. Brilliant, I can start working on my tan. It's a great time of the year, nothing could possibly go wrong now.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Bachmann are back with our British Rail summer announcement. Now it was only about 2 or 3 months ago we had the spring announcement and that was terrible. I roasted that, and you might know Bachmann whacked me with a copyright claim on that, and then all hell broke loose. And now here comes the summer one. Well, get ready Bachmann, hover your mouse over that copyright claim because I'm going to roast the hell out of this one because it's just as bad. Maybe they were listening the last time though, because I was saying a runtime of almost 52 minutes is just ridiculous. So thankfully they've cut it down by almost a whole 5 minutes. Geez, now it's 47 minutes of sludge to wade through. This is almost as bad as sitting down and watching Lord of the Rings, for God's sake. But don't you worry my friends, I'll tell you everything you need to know about this announcement in a much smaller time. So buckle up busters, we're going to get into this right now. So Richie Rich is standing in the rain telling us it's summer. You should come to Scotland mate, it never rains here. So who else is on this video? We've got the good old Davy Boy and Gazprom Gaza. So they mentioned quickly that Harbin Hobbies in Edinburgh has won an award from them. That's pretty good because it is quite a good model shop. I've been there a few times, definitely recommend it. Right, what's next? Then they go on to talk about some awards that they've won, but they forgot to mention that they got the Locomotion Motion Most Boring Company in the World award for the 10th year in a row. Well done Bachmann. So Richie then goes on to talk about how they've got some new tooling announcements throughout the year. If you ask me, new tooling can naff off. Imagine saving up all your money and then buying something, only for it to be new tooled in a short period of time afterwards, and then suddenly you've got something that's kind of out of date. There's so much that could be modelled. This feels like you're just going round and round churning out the same old stuff again and again with some minor differences. And you start off with these wagons which have got some wire handrails and some other bits and pieces, but it's just a reissue of a model they've done before, and all the manufacturers are doing this at the moment.
Screw you guys.
I find it really boring and uninspiring. It's like what Disney's doing when remaking things like Snow White. Just write a good new script and get on and give us something new that we can get into, not just rehashing old stuff. And that's the same when it comes to model railways. You're not going to attract new people to the hobby if you just keep churning out old wagons from years ago. There's so much new stuff that it could do. I'm always batting on about a 385. Nobody's done that yet. I mean, just check out what Bachmann's doing in America. They've just released this Siemens ALC 42 Charger in N scale. What a fantastic model, bang up to date, looks fantastic, super space age, and we get this crap from the 1940s or something. Get with the program. If you don't start making new models for the modern audience, then you're just going to get all the coffin dodgers who are trying to recreate their childhood from the 1920s or something. Stop living in the past, Bachmann. Get with the program. So let's start a drinking game right now. Every time we see all new tooling on screen, let's take a drink, and by the end of this video we'll see how much we've done. So first pint's on me. There you go. And drink. There's another pint for you. And then we're on to these NAF Gauge 7 locomotives again. I've already roasted these. Just forget about it. Let's move on. But don't forget to take another drink. And then it's Mark 1 coaches. Like we don't have enough of these in the world. And another drink. Jesus, we're going to get pished here. And if we don't watch what we're doing, it's going to turn into Sauchiehall Street on a Saturday night. And then they're at a bus museum. God, can you imagine how bad that would be? It'd be like entering a national competition for a dream holiday and then winning first prize only to find out you actually got a trip to flippin' Aberdeen. And anyway, isn't this about railways and you got buses again? What's going to be next? Some more Stingray stuff? Let's get on with the trains. Skip. If you're a member of the Bachmann Collectors Club, like a bunch of football hooligans that can gang up on anybody that doesn't like Bachmann, you can get a chance to buy one of these wagons in either N gauge or 00 scale. HRA wagons, great that they're kind of modern wagons, but these look so plasticky and terrible. I mean, look at the paint here. Look at the finish here. This looks like toys. And you get your discount with the club, making the N scale one $41.95 for this rubbish looking wagon. But you thought that was bad. The 00 one is $62.95. With your discount, $62.95 for a wagon. You're having a laugh. And then you can get another reissue of this coach if you want it. So for new stuff this year, they start off with scenery. I mean, like, that's not the most exciting thing. We want to see the locomotives. Get on with that, not this stuff. Hold up a minute though, look at this footbridge, this looks terrible. This looks like someone like young Timmy would have knocked up in the woodworking class and brought home. Yeah, well done Timmy, this looks great, and then you just chuck it in the bin because it's a piece of crap. And then look at these depot storage tanks, look at the paint on that. It looks like somebody had a curry last night and just farted over this. What a disaster. There's a whole raft of kind of mediocre looking models, and they're all painted like what I would paint someone after 10 pints of lager. Talking of which, I'm getting a bit thirsty. When are we going to get some new tooling? Let's see what's next. And then they announced this model for 009, an open-ended brake van, but they do say it's available again. So this sounds like it was a limited edition before, or there was a production run, and then they've just re-released it, so it's nothing new. And then they lead on to show this wagon, which they say is free if you're in the Collectors Club. I think that's a good price for this wagon. Probably wouldn't pay anything more than that. And then they go on at length about NAF Gauge 7 stuff. Check out my roast video about that. I'm not going to go over it again. Let's get on with the next bit. Okay, we're almost 20 minutes into the video now, and I think we're finally getting on to the new railway releases, and we're joined by Davy Boy, which gives us an all new tooling and another drink. Great, thanks Davy. But it's some tanker wagons, and I'm just sick of tanker wagons. Everybody's got tanker wagons coming out this year. What is it with this? Well, it sucks if you're into N-Gauge, because that's all you're getting at the moment, but they do hint at this class 450 that's been on the cards for a couple of years now, and it's going to come out sometime this year. Is it? Is it? But this is great that they're actually doing something that's modern. Very colourful as well, but we'll see if this really comes out. And they're also saying that they've got the 350 with a bit of a tooling change so that they can offer this one, the class 350/4, in the Trans-Pennine Express. Looks really good, but I'm not sure of the speckly effect. So there's some livery changes here. This one looks pretty good actually, the 350/3. It's almost like a camo effect, and I quite like that. So more tankers that are getting welcomed back in N-Gauge. Well, welcome. Where did they go? Did they just stop making them and now they've decided to make them again? And is that missing a buffer? That's a bit weird. And they got them in some other liveries as well. And now we've got some more tanker wagons. It says they're new tooling, so it's another drink. Hooray! And now they've got some brake vans as well. I mean, oh dear, how boring. How many brake vans do we really need? And it's another drink as we look at these pallet vans. This one has even got Johnny Walker on it, so I think we should have a round of whiskey. But in my mind, these are really boring. Okay, they look quite good and they've got a lot of detail on them, but how many teeny tiny brown vans do we actually need? And they all kind of look the same on a train. Now they're talking about making loads of Mark 1 coaches in different liveries, but at least we get another drink. New tooling again. We don't need more Mark 1 coaches. We've got plenty on the market, and okay, you might have done some little tweaks that made it a little bit better than the other ones, but let's move on and leave the Mark 1s in the past where they belong. Then they move on to the Class 25, which is new tooling again. Yay! But how many Class 25s do we need? I've got one from the 1970s, and it does me fine, and sure, this has got a whole bunch of upgrades on that, but do you really need it? And the 25 hasn't been around for many, many years. So surely everybody who wants a 25 has already got one. Why do we need more? Now this isn't new tooling or anything, it's just the old model with some sound fitted onto it. These Class 3s are okay looking, but they've been out for a while, so this is nothing new. But they do have this one with the camel on it. I love that camel. So it's steam locomotives now, and they've got a Jinty. Wow, that's never been modelled before. Actually, even this one has been out for ages, and they've just put sound in it. And I think they've given it some new numbers or something. We don't need any more Jinties, we've got plenty, thanks. And I would go so far to say we've got plenty steam locomotives as well. Anyway, let's get on with the next one. And then it's another return. Return from where? Anyway, they're offering these Royal Mail coaches. I guess lots of us started with model railways that had the working Royal Mail coach. That was quite a cool feature at the time. These ones look really detailed, but it's nothing new. So it's EFE rail models now, and they've got a bloater wagon. But it is a bit fishy. And it's got new tooling. Great, another drink. But you know what? This is just another brown van, a bit longer than the other ones, but yeah, who needs one? And then he goes on to say welcoming back, but it says new tooling. So I'm getting confused here. Is this a new model or a re-release, or have they just added on a couple of extra pieces? Anyway, it's the Adams 02 in this green colour, which does look pretty good. It's certainly better than that Jinty. And you get a couple of other liveries as well. So this is going to be our last drink of the evening because it's the new tooling of these cranes. Quite an interesting model, this one, but I'm still a bit confused about this EFE range. Is this a model that previously came out as branch line and then they've just made it cheaper or something and made it EFE rail? Can't quite figure it out. So there's a little joke here where Richie and Davey are talking about not having enough fingers and they're going to have to use their toes for the new tooling that they've had. And you can see how many we've had tonight. And that was it. That's the end of the releases. So my favourite in 00 scale I think is this livery of Crane. Depending on the cost, I can imagine this is going to be like £1 million or something, but it does look a bit different and unusual, so that's quite cool. And then it's going to be the 350 and 450 EMUs. You guys have got to make more of this stuff to appeal to the
modern audience.
And the best livery in my mind is the Northwestern Railway one. It looks really cool, almost like a camouflage colour scheme. But that's it for this roasting, and Bachmann are hovering over the copyright button already because they don't like what I've been saying. But if this video stays up, you can thank me for saving 47 minutes of your life. That's it for this one anyway. I'll catch you on the next video. See ya.